Okay, I need you to really listen to me on this one. I mean, like, you have to have an open mind for what I'm about to say, right? Right? Because I understand what I'm about to say is kind of crazy, and I know you clicked on the title of this video thinking, what is this dude talking about? I miss the vibes of 2020. I don't miss 2020 in general because 2020 was a weird year and it wasn't a great year. But you gotta think about it. You gotta really think about it. We had a lot that year. You know what I mean? Like Corey Kenshin was uploading somewhat consistently. You know, we had like we had some pretty solid games. Solid, like everything in media was going pretty well. You know, Spider-Man Miles Morales had just came out around that time, like Christmas time. I think. Yeah, no, it was around Christmas time. You know, things were good. It's just, you know, we were kind of blinded by the whole COVID thing. You know, that being kind of significant. Because, like, really think about it, right? Right? If you take away all the bad things about 2020, we only had good things. Now, now you can say, oh yeah, you can take away the bad things of everything, and there was only good things. Yada yada yada. Shut up. Let me be happy. But yeah, no, I'm thinking about it, right? I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, right? And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know, it would be cool if we went back to 2020. Not like the whole, you know, everyone going back to how that age and, you know, the whole COVID thing. Really thinking about it. Like, obviously, if you had a bad 2020, then obviously I wouldn't want you to go back to 2020. Obviously. But, like, really think about it. Like, what was, like, besides the whole COVID thing, the whole potential World War III thing, we had Prime TikTok. Corey was uploading somewhat consistently. MatPat was still on YouTube. You know, most people weren't outed as PDF files. I have to delete that part of the clip because wow. But you know, we actually, you know, things in media, I should say, were going great. You know, not like. And I mean, sure, there was always the occasional problem, you know, in media. Like, I'm trying to remember from 2020 because, like, they really think about it. 2020 was a long time ago, like almost a decade ago. I'm pretty sure. Like, no, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah, currently 5 years ago. Cause, yeah, that I'm getting my math wrong. Either way, 2020 wasn't that long. It was pretty long. It was a long ago, but not long enough for it to be like a decade ago. You know what I mean? So it's like really thinking about it. There was only like a few bad things in 2020 in media. Like I have to keep saying in media because, you know, people were dying from COVID and yada yada yada. You know, it's you know how 2020 went most likely. But you really think about it, we had Prime TikTok. We didn't have the TikTok we have now where it's basically just drama, you know, OF creators and yada yada. We had like Prime TikTok. We had like dance challenges. You know, those I want to say fake caring videos where it's like, oh yeah, people are giving out to the poor and whatnot. Those took over my feed a lot. You know, like really think about it. What else like the vibes of 2020 were just perfect. Everything in media was just going spectacular. It's just the fact of the matter is we had so much to deal with. You know what I mean? Like we had to deal with COVID. You know, the president's not getting what they.
You know, they won't get their stuff together. And like really thinking about it now, it was a really good year for like a lot of stuff. Like think about it. Like most of our favorite animes are now either ending or have ended. You know, and a lot of new ones are coming out. But like, most of our favorite animes now are probably, and this is coming from a mainly shonen watcher. I barely watch anything else, to be frank with you. I'm just in a niche, and I'd rather stay in that niche because I'd rather not see some of the wild stuff I've seen. But yeah, no, really thinking about it, there's, you know, all of those were airing music was going crazy. I'm pretty sure, like, the music I remember from 2020 was The Box by Roddy Ricch, Rockstar by DaBaby, Don Toliver's After Party, or that whole album was going stupid. I'm not even gonna hold you. A couple other Metro Boomin songs, but then again, I was also in the rap niche, so it wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really just that. What else? There's also, like I said, you know, YouTube. Yeah. Let me talk about YouTube for a second. I started this channel in 2020. You know, uploading, you know, gaming was also pretty good this year too, because we had gotten one of the best seasons of Fortnite. That like after the remix season, bro, I really want that season back. We got Chapter 2 Season 2. That season was perfect for me. I love that season. That's the season I started in Chapter 2 Season 1, but still. Then we also had Among Us, which is going weirdly popular for some reason. I don't know why that game went popular, honestly. Like, we have Mafia, we have Murder Mystery. Why did we like sorry, I needed water. Why did we like Among Us again? But yeah, no. Now it's just, you know, don't get me wrong, I love Marvel Rivals and I love every other game that's come out, but it's just like a little underwhelming now. You know, the PS5 had just came out that year. Now it's a present gen console. Like, it's no longer a new gen. Like, really thinking about it, how old is a PS5 is, and how old it, and like how easy it is to get one now. It makes me sad, bro, because like I missed this, bro. I missed this year. I missed like I said, in terms of media, I missed this year. I don't miss the year. I don't, like, the only reason why I'm not saying completely is because, you know, COVID, presidents not knowing whether they wanted to, you know, off each other or not, whether the country was, you know, and there's the whole other thing with, you know, I want to avoid saying it, but there's no avoiding it. Racism was like really high that year, especially after the whole George Floyd situation. People weren't going to school, or, you know, online school, which I guess isn't as bad as people claim it is, but like it's also like very, very bad for people's mental health, and also very bad for, you know, people's social lives. Which I'm an introvert. Don't get me wrong. I'm an introvert unless I'm around my friends. Then I'm like the biggest extrovert ever known to man. But like, I like 2020 made me like want human interaction more than anything. Especially since at the time I didn't know my boy Aiden, my boy Nate, Gamma. I didn't know them yet. I didn't know they existed. I'm pretty in same way back. I mean, I knew I had friends, but most of them were busy, so I couldn't do much. You know what I mean? And it's just like that's why I can't say I completely missed 2020, because 2020 also was like the roughest time for me mentally. And, you know, I started to gain a lot of weight. I lost it now, but like 2020 is where I started to gain the most weight I've ever gained in general. And that's when I started to feel myself like take a spiral, not wanting to do as much, just wanting to stay home, not go anywhere. And then, you know, that's what I'm saying. The vibes of 2020 were better, and not the year. Because don't get me wrong, if we had a 2020 2.0 comeback, you know, thing, TikTok's back at its prime, you know, people are uploading, our favorite YouTubers are uploading consistently, you know, the ones that haven't retired, you know, people aren't getting outed as a PDF file every 2 seconds, you know, everything that good that happened you know, everything good in media, I should say, I'd be really happy. Because really thinking about it now, we really were too focused on the bad stuff than we were, like, you know, trying to stay positive. You know what I mean? 'Cause like I keep saying this, we were like, COVID really messed everything up. I'm refraining from, cause okay, COVID really messed everything up, along with, you know, the government wanting to having to deal with that, finding a vaccine for it, you know, government dealing with its own issues, everyone dealing with not being able to go to school but having to go to online school. You know how much of a hassle it is to wake up. Mind you, I'm living with my mom and like my 3 cousins at the time, right? And so we like, do you know how annoying it is to wake up to one of your cousins being like, "Hey, we gotta get ready for school." We don't start school until 9. It's 7, and we don't go to school anymore. We have to, you know, go into a Zoom meeting. Why am I getting up at 7 to go to a 9 a.m. class, or 9 a.m.? Yeah, 9 a.m. class. What do I? I'm not Ashton Hall, okay? I'm not waking up at that time just to do what? Sit there and wait? And mind you. Like I said, I'm gonna go back into the gaming thing for a second. We also got one of the other best seasons of Fortnite, which was Chapter 2, Season 4. I'm gonna be frank with you. I did not like that newest Marvel season. I mean, I did like it, but it was just the mythics were too much for me to really really think about it. Right, the Iron Man mythics in season 4, Chapter 2, compared to the Iron Man mythics that we got recently, which ones would you choose? Don't worry, you don't have to. I'm choosing for you. This is my video. You can't respond back. You would choose the Chapter 2 Season 4 ones. You know, we were also getting live events consistently. You know, we weren't getting like, you know, these semi-cinematic events. We were getting like we were getting so much in media, but that's also because no one really had anything else to do. Like, we couldn't do much. Like, don't get me wrong, we also still had, you know, we still had responsibilities we had to take care of, you know, work, yada yada yada, for people who are older than 12. And so it's just like, what are we doing? You know, like, we had nothing else to do. And so that's why I'm like, I kind of wish we had the vibes of 2020 back, because the vibes of 2020 were low-key great, you know? Don't get me wrong, you know, there was always the impending threat of, hey, you can, mind you, I never caught the virus. I never caught it. I never experienced it. Actually, I was one of the only people in my house that didn't catch it. So, but yeah, no, it's just like, we really sat there. We kind of wasted our time with being mopey about the fact that we had to stay in the house, because the fact of the matter is we had a killer virus going out, and we couldn't do anything about it until scientists figured out a vaccine for it. Our government were just trying to like mess everything up for everyone, and for specific races, racism was at its all-time high, which I'm not going to get into that because I'd rather not give my opinion out on that. That's just not something I rather do. I hate politics with a burning passion. Like this, like, elections, stupid. Every time we get a new president, it doesn't matter who it is, they always do something stupid, or they're just evil. Nah. I mean, Obama was pretty good. Be so for real. Like, and there's a couple other ones that I just rather not get into. But yeah, no, you really thinking about it. I keep running back to this point. I'm getting repetitive, but 2020 wasn't a bad year for the internet. You know what I mean? Like, we actually had pretty good memes back then. We actually had, good YouTubers who weren't trying to like just clip farm and bash other people for God knows what, or just actual good human beings as YouTubers. You know what I mean? We had good games coming out. We had the PS5 had just came out, which I'm still upset about that, honestly, because it felt like the PS5 came out like 2 years ago. Why is Nintendo coming out with a second Switch that's like $500 plus the extra $800 that you're gonna have to pay to actually use it. Anime was doing pretty good that year. That's where most people actually actually got into it. TikTok was doing great that year, bro. Music was going pretty good that year. Don't get me wrong, music is going pretty good now too. But like, I don't know. I guess 2020, the music 2020 went pretty good. Without the whole rappers being a bad person thing. Now the reason why I'm making this video is because I don't want people to think, because like I've been thinking about it recently, and it's just like, really, we took that for granted. And I don't want to be next time there is a global pandemic that forces us to stay in our house, and like all we can do is go on online classes or clock into work online and yada yada yada. I'm not gonna think about the fact that there might be, like, obviously I'm not gonna put myself in harm's way and get the virus just because I want to be ignorant. No, I'm gonna care less about the fact, obviously still keep updates, yada yada yada. And then obviously the same things happened in 2020, with the whole, presidents not knowing what they want to do with their lives, and the whole racism thing. We would have been like, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna think about it as much, because I'm gonna want to enjoy this time that I have, because the fact of the matter is, last time I had it, we kind of took it for granted. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't want, and this time would be different, obviously, because we have online friends. We know how to make those online connections now better than anything. And some people aren't as stupid as they were in 2020. So we'd probably still have to deal with the whole PDF file thing. That's never gonna change at this point. You can never trust anyone for who isn't a PDF file, who is a PDF file. It's anyone at this point. I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit, because like I said, I was listening to a song that played on one of Corey Kenshin's videos, and I was immediately brought back to that time where I first watched it. Now, mind you, on the phone with my girlfriend, I'm like, I miss Corey, man. And she was like, he's uploading though, and I'm like, I know, but I still miss him, man. So it's just me being me, me being funny. But I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. That just seemed like a good video topic I could talk about. Like I said last time on the last video, I'm probably gonna end up uploading a lot more Fortnite videos for like Fortnite content, because I'm probably gonna be, I might play with a lot more of my friends this time, more than anything, because I just rather not do it alone. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I'll talk to y'all later, and if you do something bad, make sure you do it and make sure it looks cool. And I'll see you guys later.